I just want to say, I just want to have an honest conversation about what's going on with today's kids. I don't know where we went wrong. I don't know what has happened, but for some strange reason, kids are more out of control than they ever were. I'm not saying that we as a society haven't had, you know, ragamuffins or, child bandits. But the fact of the matter is, we today's kids are just out of pocket. They truly are out of pocket. I've never in my life seen some of the things I've been seeing lately. As you guys know, the trending topic right now is that young woman who got attacked by these kids in Chicago. These are young kids. These aren't even high schoolers or young adults, 19, 20-year olds. These are kids that are between the age of 12 and maybe 14 years old. And they were not only able to, you know, continuously bully people for, according to the reports, they were bullying kids for a long period of time and nothing ever happened. The school never intervened. But I'm not blaming the schools. My mom always said that things start at home and spread abroad. So my question is, why are these? Oh, hi, Liz. My question is, why are we allowing kids to run the home, or we want the kids to run amok all over the place? We're blaming the teachers for why the kids are misbehaving. To me, that doesn't make any sense. When it is the parents' job to raise that child, it's not their job to send to for parents to send their kids to school and the teachers to instill in them morals, values, and ethics. That is not their job. That is the parents' job. So we have kids out here that are pretty much on the loose because their parents are so concerned with either social media, that their own lives, or getting their hair done, makeup done, whatever the case may be, or dads are not around. And now these kids are out here beating up grown folks. They're out here just completely acting a fool. Every time I see it, I go online, I go on TikTok, and it's some young individual out here terrorizing people. You had a young boy sneaking people into the house while the mom was asleep. You have bands of kids running out at nighttime. I remember in Chicago, they were downtown, run on top of cars and all that good stuff. And then something happens to them. They call law enforcement, and then everybody marching the street saying how bad law enforcement is. How about you raise your freaking kids? No one can actually call. No one can call the cops on you if you're raising your freaking kids. How many times have you guys seen something happen like a school shooting or something like that, where they interview the mom or the dad and they say, well, I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea my son was like that. They're typically a great kid. They always been a good kid on the honor roll. What does it have to do with what your kid is doing? One thing about me and the mothers of my kids is that we are aware of what our kids are doing. I can tell you right now where all of my kids are. I can tell you what they did because their mothers and I are we're very present in their lives. And now I feel like parents nowadays are having kids because they're luxury items. They're like brand new shoes and clothes and things like that. People have a kid and they'll have pictures. They're like, oh my God, they're so cute. And then they'll kind of, once they're done with it, they'll cast the kid aside and do their own thing. Because there's no way in hell you can tell me that middle school kids were able to beat up a young woman and her kids, and none of the parents knew at all what their kids were doing. And now that they're in trouble, now we're out here saying, "Oh my God!" Like we had no idea. The guy got online and said, "Oh, my daughter, she's on a roll. She was a majorette. She was, she's a great kid." Your daughter beat up a grown woman and her son. There's something great about that. I don't care how many A's she has when she run her hands on folks. It doesn't matter. We have to be present in our kids' lives. That crap is very important. But not even just why the kids are so out of control. We also are allowing kids to raise themselves. I remember growing up, that happened in my generation too, where my mom had to go to work and I watched my siblings. I was 5 years old when I had to watch my sister. Then I was 7 when I had to watch my sister and my brother. And I was 9 years old when I had to watch my sister and my younger brothers, because my mom had to go and make ends meet. And so I had to grow up fast. And luckily, me growing up fast was not in the negative way. It was more positive. But nowadays, hello, how are you? But nowadays, kids are raising themselves, and kids are raising themselves, and they're acting, and they're out of control more than they ever had before. They're on social media. They're learning. I watched like some of these little dance crazy, these dances, and these kids out here. They're gyrating and stuff. And I'm not about respectability politics, but when it comes down to young people, we have to control what we put in front of them. That's very important. We can't let kids see everything. TV is so like uncontrolled now that it's no wonder why these kids are out here acting crazy, because all they see, because the parents are not raising them, all they see is, you know, booty shaking here, drugs here, violence here, and there's no one to counteract that. The life is all about balance, right? If life is about balance, if you have all the negative stuff being put in front of these kids and they have no positivity to counteract that, that's why they're out here acting crazy. That's why they're out here. That they're seeking out. Most of the time, kids act out for attention, and when they don't get it, they'll look for it any and everywhere, and that's how gangs get started. That's why, in a way, that's kind of why Chicago is so bad. That's why some of these bad neighborhoods are so bad, because the parents are either overworked, so they don't have time to spend time with their kids, or they're not interested. They had kids for the wrong reasons, to keep a man, to control a man, or whatever the case may be. And that's not how you have kids. I think we have to be really smart about how we have our kids. It needs to be intentional. We should be making the kid, to me, when you decide to have a kid, is the ultimate act of love, just like marriage. I know people don't believe in marriage nowadays, but marriage is more than just a commitment between man and a woman. It is a vow before God to make sure that when y'all come together, y'all face the rigors of life. When you choose to have a kid just because, a one night stand, or just because you want to keep a man, or whatever the case may be, you put yourself in a situation where you will going to become overworked and overstressed. Even from a two-parent household, like me and my fiance, we have kids that we're still stressed out with two people. So imagine being a single mother or a single father raising a kid and trying to go to work and trying to, make ends meet, and not here doing X, Y, and Z. It is tough. And you willingly put yourself in that situation. And then once you get fed up, sometimes your people just give up. And now the kids is out there acting crazy. Now the kids are out here doing whatever they want to, and you are none the wiser. You had a video on TikTok of a kid sneaking a grown man into the house while the mama was asleep, and she hella overreact by hitting him in the head with a bat. Not the guy, but the child. But the fact of the matter is that kid felt the need to hide a man or sneak a man in, and what it tells me is two things are happening: that the kid don't feel comfortable telling either of the parents what his sexuality was, and then he also felt emboldened to sneak a kid into the house, a man into the house, which is crazy and wild to me. For me, my mother, my mother didn't play that. One thing I would give my mom credit for, she always give us a place to speak, within reason, speak our minds and let us know how I feel. I think that this modern day, let's be friends with my kids, is gone too far. I think it's important to let a kid speak their mind, but I think it's even more important to guide that kid and actually to cultivate that mind and structure that mind, because the kids are our future and they coming up behind us. Currently, the world is already in shambles. The way these kids are, can you imagine the world in 30 years from now when they take over? It's going to be all TikTok dances and memes. So to me, I feel like it's time. It's time for parents to stand up and step up. It's time for us to build that community that we need to see. We know for a fact it takes a village to raise a kid, and it takes more than just your family to raise a child. I think personally that we should all band together. Like, it's kind of like a neighborhood watch. I think we all know, like back in the day, I'm from a small town in Georgia. Back in the day, if you act up on one side of the town, by the time you get home, your mama she already know, because somebody will have called her and said, "Hey, Quentin's acting a fool over there on the east side." So I'm coming home smiling, and before I know it, I'm getting the belt. I think we need to go back to that. We need to go back to helping each other out and saying, "Hey, who's your mama? Who's your daddy? Give me their number, because you shouldn't be acting this way." But now everybody want to mind their own business. They're like, oh, it ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't care. It ain't my kid. But what if it is? What if it is your kid? You know, like these school shootings and stuff like that. These kids are pathologically, depressed, and no one's paying attention. We have to be aware of what our kids are doing. If our kids seem sad, we have to be aware of that stuff. I always been very, very cognizant. Like one thing about my ex-wife, and she's in this chat, she'll tell you she's very adamant about making sure our son knows that he has support. I'm the same with my other two sons. I make sure they have support. If I see them depressed, I'm gonna ask about it. We can't have this situation where kids are coming home and they feel unable to come to their parents, and they store that anger so much so they warp, everything becomes warped, and then they go to the school and they end up hurting innocent people and teachers, all because of something, because the pain, they couldn't alleviate that pain. It is the parents' job. It is the parents' job to make sure our kids are taken care of. We can't offset it to the teachers. That story in Chicago where those kids beat up that teacher. I'm gonna beat up that young lady and her son. They're not blaming the teachers and saying, "Oh, the school should have done something to protect the kids from bullying." But how about the parents need to make sure the kids understand that they shouldn't bully someone? Teachers are already overworked and underpaid. I was a teacher before. That's not an easy job. It's a thankless job in a way, because you try to do your best and you try to alert the parents and say, "Hey, your kid is not performing up to standards. Hey, your kid is acting and misbehaving." And then every so often, now you have this issue where where now you try to tell the parents something, the parents rebuff it and be like, "Oh, you know what? They ain't my kid. They ain't like my kid." And it's like, no, 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 no. It has nothing to do about what you think your kid is. I'm telling you what your kid actually is. Because if you were actually present in your kid's life, you would have known what that kid was going through. You would know that your kid don't listen. You would have known that your kid can't read. He's in the 6th grade, but he can't read past the 3rd grade reading level. You would have known that. But you're so busy out here, taking all these pictures and selfies, but you're not aware of what your kids are doing. And I'm trying to tell you and help you out so he won't fall behind. And you're telling me that I'm the problem? To me, it's like every time I'm about to sleep, I see so. Oh, I'll try to go live more often. I just work in healthcare, so I have a hard time going live unless it's late at night. But I'll try to do more lives on the weekends early. But yeah, we have moments where we blame everybody else for the downfall of our lives. To be honest with you, you have more control than you think. What I was saying on my TikTok the other day is that people don't understand how control actually works. Every situation that there's a level of control in it for the person. So in your relationship, your control is your actions and your ability to leave a situation that's not relevant for you or not working for you. That's your control mechanism. That's where the power lies. That power lies in your ability to either continue with that relationship or move away from it. When you're at work, your power lies in your ability to learn a skill and for that skill to be valued by that company. And if you talk to that company and say, "Hey, I'd like to be paid more because I'm the only person in this particular section that can do what I do," and they say, "Well, I don't think so," you can say, "Well, in that case, I'll test my luck out in the market." That's how power works. That's how true power dynamics work. But we're so used to just giving up and saying, "Oh, it has nothing to do with me." I don't have the power. Oh, I'm powerless. No, you have more power than you think. You really do. And as parents, we have more power than we think. We created our children. Our children see us as these, at times, as these heroes or these godlike beings. And so because of that, we have the ability to warp them any way we like. But if we do not do that, the world would do it for them. That's the thing about it. Kids are like a tabula rasa. That's a blank slate. If you do not start to write the morals and ethics you want your kids to follow, the world would do it for them. And then once their foundation is cemented, if it's a negative foundation, it is really difficult to undo that stuff. So to me, I think the work should start at home when it comes to our kids. When it comes down to the parenting, we have to start holding parents accountable. I don't believe in letting adult people get away with stuff. I know how we always say, "Oh my God, it's not our business," but it does become our business. How many of you have been to a restaurant or to a grocery store and you mind your business, trying to get in and get out? You know, you're tired, and all of a sudden somebody start acting foolish in there, acting crazy, acting loud. That's everybody's problem. And yes, people can be crazy, and you don't want to get hurt, but within reason, you can hold people accountable. My whole thing is like, no, like I need y'all to start acting like adults. You over here acting like kids, and for some strange reason, we hold kids to higher standards than adults. We'll make excuses for adults, but we'll burn up kids. It's like we'll adultify kids, but we'll infantilize freaking adults. And I don't understand why we do that. One thing about me, I hold people to the standard in which their age dictates. If you are an adult, I expect you to act like an adult. I'm not your mama or your daddy, so I'm not here to raise you. I'm here to cooperate with you, work with you, especially if you're at work. So I hold people to that standard. My employees, my nurses, my phlebotomists, my medical assistants, my pharmacy techs, all they know for a fact, as long as you do your job, you will never even see me. I'll come around and say, hey, how you doing? Make sure everything's okay. And I'm in my office doing my work. But if you force me to have to manage you, because I think adults should be able to manage themselves, now we have a problem. And that's what it is in life. In this current era, we have people that don't know how to manage themselves. They have no emotional control. Whenever you talk to them about why they did what they do, they say, oh, she made me. He made me. Really? He made you punch him in the face? He made you quit your job? No, see, people can do things, people can say things to you outside of being physically struck. They can say things to you, but you have the ability to control it. My thing is, you have the ability to control what you do and how you act. One thing I preach on my actual channel is emotional control, especially when it comes down to men. We have to have the ability to control ourselves, because if you do not control yourself, someone can control you. If I know how to trigger your anger, I can make you do what I want, when I want, and how I want. I can wait till you have a big promotion or a birthday, and I can cause you to act out and mess your whole life up, and I go on about my merry way. It is extremely important to have emotional control. Let's just say, all I was a child with absent parents, I have done a very bad thing. I got with the wrong group. I have changed my life completely, but I'm telling y'all, I don't want that. Exactly, being 100%, 100%. When like the thing about it is, if you already been through something, it is our job as adults to make sure we guide people along the way. We try to show them the pitfalls that we fell into. We try to we try to guide them around it. If we're so in our own little bubbles and we don't help people, that's how we keep having this crazy behind society. Like I said in my last live, the reason why Christmas don't feel like Christmas, or it feel like, or we feel like no one cares about us anymore, because they actually don't. That's why. Because we have now gotten to a place where we're so selfish, we're so materialistic, we're so braggadocious, we look down on everybody else. And that's not how society functions. And that's why America is going down in the dumps, because we don't know how to be a country or people that actually give a damn about each other. It's camaraderie that we need in this country. It's brother and sisterhood. It's community that we need. We always say, I'm proud to be American. Well, at least we know I'm free. That stuff sounds cool. That sounds amazing, but we have to live it out. Me personally, I'm tired of the word play, and I'm tired of the lip service. One thing about, and my ex-wife who's in here, she'll tell you about this. I'm up right now because I'm always trying to figure out a way to make life better. I go from helping people with cancer to coaching kids in basketball to mentoring young men who are not my children. I do what I need to make sure that they know somebody gives a damn, to make sure they know that we actually care. And now, I want people to start doing that. I'm not asking you to give your heart and soul to people, but at least let people know they care. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. I know y'all been seeing the story about those angel trees, right? You have these angel trees where people go and they buy presents for kids, and people were getting on folks for not buying the exact thing that the kid wants. And I can understand that to a degree. But the fact of the matter is, if someone's taking the economy is what it is. It's very expensive. I don't care how much money you make, and I'm pretty solidly middle class, and it's expensive. People be asking for five. They ask for 5 or 6. That 5 or 6 PS5s and Lululemon jeans and stuff. I'm like, this is an angel tree. I can't get you this. I'll try my best, but I'll get you what I can. And you have people coming online like, oh my God, this person ain't get exactly what that kid want. How selfish are you? When the hell did beggars become choosers? Your kid, your kid is not, you can't, because of certain situations, I don't know what your situation may be, you don't have the ability to buy your kids a full Christmas. But there are people who have out of the kindness of their own heart, they go out and they buy the present so your kid can have at least something. And your whole thing is to get online and bash them. Who owe you your little faith? I'm telling you, it'll make no sense. I've never seen. You can't be entitled and broke. No offense, you can't be entitled and broke. You have to pick a struggle. But there's no way. You have to be grateful that people are taking time and out of their hard-earned money. 40 hours a week plus, that ain't easy to do. Most of us would rather be at home with our loved ones or traveling or whatever the case may be. But I'm working hard and I'm taking my hard-earned money and helping you out, my fellow brother, my fellow sister. And then you have the audacity to tell me that I ain't do enough. I didn't buy enough. It is crazy. The problem is America started saying diversity is our strength. Diversity isn't strength. Unity. Exactly. Being unity is strength. Diversity is great. It really is. But if you're just hiring people for diversity's sake, you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. It truly is unity. It's always been unity, to value people because of what they bring to the table and helping out along the way. Like you know how messed up that how messed up life is. Sometimes when people think that you got hired because you are black, brown, a woman, a man, whatever the case may be, it's to me. I'm not saying don't honor your heritage or your religion, but as Americans, I'm 100%. Good night, Liz. But mission goes, you should be. Yeah, you're right. To me, it's amazing to be proud of your heritage, where you come from, because our past does help out with navigating life. What I understand the people that came before me. I understand what happened in the civil rights movement. I understand all of that stuff. That's why I hold myself the same way I hold myself. That's why I value my education, because at one point people who look like me couldn't do that. The reason I don't care about respectability politics, but I honor my ancestors, I honor my grandparents, and I honor my mother and my father, because that's what you're supposed to do. I can be a proud black man without having to have grills and be out there listening to rap and all that good stuff. That's not who I am. I'll be disingenuous because that's not how I was raised. And I'm not trashing on people who do that stuff. But there comes a time where you have to realize that you have to learn how to blend in and mesh with society. Society does not warp around you. We have to adjust to it. And that's one thing that we all have to learn. And my thing is, either you learn how to change and get with the times, or you get ran over. It's really crazy. And just going back to the whole, like, just building community, I want to talk to the men out there. Like, one thing, say, I hear you, I have grill. my thing is, I will in a minute, Liz. One thing I would say, when it comes down to men, we have to start building a community, because most of us grew up in a time where men were, they provided, they were there, but they were not necessarily present, if that makes sense. They were not necessarily present in our lives. So we saw our fathers, or people who had fathers there. They were providing from us, but they were really teaching us and guiding us and showing us the rigors of life. A lot of fathers, they're kind of like, old school men. Don't show emotion. Let me stand here and show that quiet strength. We can't do that anymore. These kids ain't quiet at all, and they damn sure have a weird version of what strength really is and what it means. Their version of masculinity is kind of crazy. Like I remember I learned what a YN was maybe about a couple of months ago, and I started looking into what they call YN behavior, and I was like, oh man, what? I've been in my own little quiet little suburb bubble, and I didn't see none of this crap, and now I'm over here like, oh, I have to save these kids, the ones that I can save, the one I can get to. And it starts with building a community of men who mind holding their kids accountable. If strength is what they value, we're strong enough to put them in their place, because women love their kids, they love their sons. But the fact of the matter is, there comes a time where that boy has to transition to a man, and that boy is physically stronger than his mother. He needs those men to step up and say, hey, young buck, calm it down. This is how you move through life as a man, because you want them to be successful. To me, the most hurtful thing is watching a young boy with potential go down the wrong path and either hurt someone or find himself in jail, unable to truly live up to that potential. I don't believe that a kid should have to go through that stuff. I really don't. And I think men have to start building a community to show them what true masculinity look like, to show them that a man can love, a man can be a kind and tender, but a man also can hold you accountable, and he can show that strength. He can provide for that woman. He can build his family. I tell people all the time, you don't lead with control, you lead with compassion. Like when people feel like they're being controlled, they will automatically rebuff it. They will automatically push against it. I got the same background on my TV right now. But who's that? But yeah, I'm saying that a movement I can get behind. Oh, thank you, Bean. That's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to build a community of men who are strong, who are willing to step out and say something, who's proud of being a man and say, hey, let's get these boys in line. We have to get them in line. These young boys are really out of control. They're all over the place. And to this why I have a real I hate when girls say, but I have an ick when it comes out to a man who creates kids and then leave and dip out. To me, that is one of the lowest things a man can possibly do, because what you're essentially doing is setting that kid up for failure. We know the statistics behind what a single mother household looks like. Women can only do so much. Then we can do so much. That's why that man has to step in. Even with a single father household, a man can only do so much. We need balance. If it's not going to come from the biological parents, it needs to come from that community that we want to build to step in. I don't know if y'all remember that program back in the day, the Big Brother program, where your mother didn't have a man in the house, she can call the hotline, and these men will come in, they will try to show you, the ropes of what it is to be a man. We need something like that, but better, with a more positive spin on masculinity, not this toxic crap of holding your emotions back. To me, suppressing your emotions leads to bad things. It's like a pipe, right? If you block up a pipe and you let that pressure build up, it explodes. We need to make sure that masculinity pipe flows freely, and that we can take care of these doggone boys and make sure that these boys become proud fathers. They become good, upstanding society, and we can get our damn country back on track. Because right now, I don't know what we're heading towards. Like I said on my TikTok the other day, if these kids that, well, there you go. Sorry about that. It was a technical difficulty. But there you go. Sorry about that. It was a technical difficulty. Don't I don't want to. I do not want to be. I don't want to be on a country or in a space where we have hyper emotional men, women who have lost faith in us. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be live in a country where we don't know how to act and behave with one another. It does it wouldn't a country like that won't survive. If you think about the genesis of society, you will understand that how you get a society, you have people working together for the common good and for a common goal, and we don't have that no more. We have a whole bunch of selfish people trying to pick apart and take advantage of as many people as possible. And I think we need to fix that stuff. That has to be fixed. We can't have a country of people who are me people. America works best when we have a common goal, and that goal is the continuation of our country, to actually hold ourselves to what they said. They said we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. That's one part of it. But my whole preamble is I hold everybody accountable for everything that they do. And so that's my own preamble. My thing, we have to hold people accountable for what they do. Take accountability for your actions, live with the consequences. If you are grown enough, as people always say, I'm grown. If you're grown enough to do the action, you're grown enough to handle the consequences. That's how we get back on track. We hold people accountable. We can't have hypocrites. We are, as most of y'all know, we see our politicians. These are some of the most hypocritical people on the planet. It's good for me, it's good for me, but not for thee. They'll at one point they're talking about, this person is bad, and then next thing you know they're supporting the person, and next thing you know this person. We can't have that in our country. That's why we're having so much issue. It's too much money in politics. It's too many wishy-washy people. We need people with strong foundations, with strong morals and value that cannot be bought. I thank God that I've never been a person that money moves me. Money assists with what I need to do in life. It allows me to, have a certain level of comfort. But there's only so much money can do for me. You can't buy me and have me side with you. Just like if I had an offer to a product that I don't agree with, I wouldn't do it. And I've been blessed to have money thrown at me a lot of my life, and I just don't do it. It's not me. I'm driven by helping people. That's been my greatest strength and weakness. That I love people to the point where I never want to give up on anyone. I do not believe in giving up on people. And I think that stems from me being given up on as a kid and always watch people walk out of my life. That I told myself I would never walk out of my life walk out of someone's life until they say verbatim, I do not need you. And then I'll walk out, but I will still let them know that, hey, if you ever need me, I'm here. And I don't know why I'm like that, but that's just how I am. And that's why I tell people all the time, I will be there for you no matter what. People in the chat, people on my Facebook page, my Instagram, they know this to be true. If you need me, hit me up in a DM, hit me up in the comments. I read the comments and I make sure that I take care of people because we need more love in society nowadays. We need more people who are, empathetic, who are willing to stay up all night and make sure people are taken care of and make sure that, people know that they are seen. Why do you think so many people do? Why do you think these people act out? They just want to be seen. They just want to be heard. And I want everyone out there to know this chat can have 0 people in it. I don't even care. If people, while we watch this live, understand this. I see you. I hear you. I am here for you. If you need someone to talk to, you are not alone. You don't have to suffer alone. I've been blessed to have so many things happen to me as a kid, as an adult, that I have so much advice that people have given to me, that I have given to others. You do not have to suffer alone. I'm here for you. If you a parent and you're stressed out, I can tell you some ways to help you get that stress off of you. If you are a young man who having issues with dating, I can help you with that. If you want to know about colleges, I can help you with that. If you want to know, if you need a letter of recommendation for a school you're trying to get into, I work at a higher education. I'm going to school to get my doctorate. I can write that for you. We need people who actually give a damn about folks now. We need people we need to build that community again. We need to step up and stand up and realize that we are one people. Like I'm a military guy. It's one team, one fight. And everybody in this country are my brothers and sisters. And I'm here for you. I'm not here to judge you to make you feel low. You have enough people in your life to do that already. Sometimes we just need somebody to listen to us. We need somebody to just not necessarily verify who we are or reinforce who we are. We just need people to know that, hey, this was on my mind, man. Can I just talk? Which is why I call this Life University with Professor Q. Like, just if you hit me up, like my information is in the on my main page. Like hit me up. You can email me. You can hit me up on Instagram or TikTok. In the comment, just say, hey man, this is what's been going on, and I can help you out. And if I can't help you out, best believe I can point you in the right direction. I know a lot of people, from psychologists to psychiatrists to oncologists. I've been in healthcare